Mission Bay Buccaneers. Number 3, Peter Richards. Number 6, David Wilson. Number 7, Daryl Balthazar. Number 9, Matt Hogan. Number 18, Luis Camarena. On the starting lineup of the Dogs, batting first at shortstop, number 1, Seth Davidson. Mark Sessler. Batting third, playing second base, number 2, Rob Stewart. Batting cleanup at first base, number 5, Al Gomez. And batting fifth, number 15, Mark Pryor. Batting sixth, playing third base, number 18, Clayton Cullen. Zach Leach. Jim Morrison. Batting eighth, playing center field, number 4, Carlos Wendell. Batting ninth, number 12, Andy Marshall. The manager of the Dons, Dick Serrano, assisted by Gary Remiger and Shad Davidson. Ladies and gentlemen, the University of San Diego High School Dons.
Hi everybody, I'm Dan Williams, and on behalf of George Langevin Sports Video Productions, I'd like to welcome you to the newly crowned Qualcomm Stadium for today's San Diego CIF Boys Division II Baseball Championship. We've got two top teams ready to go at it head-to-head. From the University of San Diego High School, the Dons. They'll be going up against the Buccaneers from Mission Bay. Let's take a look at the home team's starting roster. That will be the Dons. Starting at first base will be number 5, Al Gomez. Number 2, Rob Stewart, will be at second base. At shortstop will be number 1, Seth Davidson. And third base will be number 8, Clayton Collins. For the Dons, starting in left field, will be number 14, Jim Morrison. Center field will be number 4, Quentin Carlos. Right field for the Dons, number 12, Andy Marshall. On the mound, starting for the Dons, number 15, Mark Pryor. And starting behind the plate, number 10, Mark Salazar. And taking a look at the Buccaneer fans as they're here to root on their team. Beautiful day here at Qualcomm Stadium. Both teams ready to play, and we are about to get underway, and it's going to be Chris Joe for the Bucks, number 8. He plays third base. Chris Joe for the season, batting .381. He'll be going up against a tough pitcher in Mark Pryor. Pryor, during league play, 10-1 with an ERA of 2.17 with 79 strikeouts. Right-handed pitcher, and we are underway. So Mark Pryor, right-handed pitcher, who had a real good 2.17 ERA, he'll be going up against Adrian Walker, who's a left-handed pitcher. Walker for the Bucks. Very impressive outings himself during league play. 11-3 is his record. He's got a strong 2.43. He tops Mark Pryor in strikeouts. He collected 103 of them. So two top pitchers will be on the mound today. Right now you're looking at the power of Mark Pryor. So the count now goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Chris Joe at the plate. Chris Joe with 2 home runs during the season. There's a chopper to the shortstop, Nelson, a long throw. And Davidson able to throw out a speedy Chris Joe. So it's Davidson to Gomez, and there's 1 out in the top half of the first inning.
Center fielder, Damaj Smith.
So it was a sharp, big one-hopper to Seth Davidson, able to easily bring it in. That one's going to be a little bit tougher. Racing forward is Davidson, and we've got a sharp single by Damaj Smith. So it went towards the same area, but this time it got into the hole between Clayne Collins and Seth Davidson. Neither one could get there as the ball bounded out to left field. Morrison picked it up and threw it back in, and so now the Bucks, with Damaj Smith at first base, brings up shortstop number 2, Reggie Nelson. Nelson batting a clean .471 during tournament and league play. And of course the statistics that I'll be providing to you today for the Bucks include all of their league play, including non-league play. Will also include playoffs of quarterfinals and semifinals action. So from start to finish through the championship game, statistics have been kept by the team, and that's what we will provided for you. Damaj Smith at first base. Ball gets away from Salazar, and easily into second base is the speedy Damaj Smith. So now with 1 out in the top half of the first inning, Damaj Smith out in scoring position at second base. The count now 2 balls and no strikes to Reggie Nelson. And for Pryor now, working out of the stretch. Ball is low for ball number 3. So right now, Pryor doing what he wants to do, and that's to keep the ball low. But now he finds him now in a hole with 3 balls and no strikes against Nelson. Nelson with 1 home run himself, but definitely having a good batting average of .471. Out of 104 bats, he's got 41 hits. Ball 4 taken, and down to first base goes Reggie Nelson. So now with 1 out, runners at first and second, and up is going to be number 22, the first baseman, Ben Luthard. Luthard himself batting .481. He's got 9 home runs. He's got the power to poke it out of here.
And playing first base, Ben Luthard.
106 trips to the plate. He's got a good, strong 51 base hits, 34 doubles. 9 triples, and check that, 8 home runs. That's 22 big Ben Luthard. Gomez delivers ball, and that is going to be a strike. Playoff history for the Dons. They own 4 county crowns. 72, 78, 80, and 81. They finished second in 1983. Their counterpart today, Mission Bay, is 5-time champions. 1986, 82, 92, and for the last 2 years, 95 and 96. Nice breaking ball by Mark Pryor, and going down in a big swing, Ben Luthard. So that collects out number 2 for the Dons, and a big one now. And up to the plate is going to be the pitcher, number 21, Adrian Walker. And he's going to try and help himself, put the ball into play and try and bring a run across. And that first one would be Damaj Smith, who's still standing out at second base. So strikeout number 1 for Mark Pryor, and we mentioned earlier during his regular season he had 79 of them. So give him another one in this first half of the inning. Ball going to the hole, and a nice throw, and that'll be out number 3. So record that one, 4-3 for out number 3. And after 1/2 inning of a play, it's the Bucks nothing, the Dons coming up. Let's take a look at the starting roster defensively for the Bucks. At first base is number 22, Ben Luthard. At second base will be number 1, Marcos Endo. Playing shortstop for the Bucks will be Reggie Nelson. He'll be wearing jersey number 2. And in third base will be number 8, Chris Joe. Left field, number 9, Mike Marabillas. Damaj Smith, number 5, will be in center field. Number 16, Tony Victorino, will be in right field. On the mound for the Buccaneers, number 21, Adrian Walker. Behind the plate and catching for the Bucks, number 19, Jeremy Glassy. Good crowd for the University of San Diego High School Dons as they are out here, friends and family, to be able to cheer on their team. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. Bucks not able to put any runs across. They leave 2, and now it's up to the Dons to come up and try and show some offensive power in this bottom half of the first inning. Beautiful day here at Qualcomm Stadium, and both teams ready to play in this boys Division II baseball championship game.
Shortstop Seth Davidson.
So coming up to the plate is number 1, Seth Davidson, plays shortstop for the Dons. He'll be facing the tough Adrian Walker. Walker, left-handed pitcher. Fine, 2.43 ERA, and he can fire some heat. For Davidson, batting .461, 29 RBIs this year, has 2 home runs, so he's got some power himself. He can put it out of the park if he gets the right ball at the right time. And so taking ball 3, 3-0 the count to Davidson. Davidson had 115 plate appearances this season, 53 hits, scored 33 himself. Mentioned 29 RBIs, 2 home runs, batting .461. That's Seth Davidson. 3 balls, 1 strike, the count. And that'll be ball 4. So Seth Davidson draws a walk on 4 balls. And just what the Dons wanted is get their leadoff man at first base with nobody out. Coming up now will be the catcher, Mark Salazar, number 10. Salazar with a batting average of .387 out of 106 plate appearances, 41 hits, 20 RBIs. He's got 4 home runs. He's the leader in home runs on this team. Adrian Walker, when you take a look at him, has got a really good windup. Gets the arm all the way back. In pitching, I'm telling you, it's mechanics all the way. Whether it's Little League or professionals, you can see how he really does a nice job of getting the hand all the way back. The ball stays down towards the ground, which is the way you're instructed to throw the ball. Nice kick right towards home plate. Adrian Walker with a nice windup. 1 ball, 1 strike as the ball's delivered. That one taken high. And so with Seth Davidson on at first base, 2 balls, 1 strikes the count to Mark Salazar. Adrian Walker himself having a very, very impressive season. We mentioned it earlier, 103 strikeouts. Nice pitch right down the pipes. Taking it all the way was Mark Salazar. That was a nice strike at the knees. The Dons in the Division II seeded first in the playoffs. The Buccaneers from Mission Bay seeded third. Big swing and a miss, and that's going to be strikeout recorded number 1 for Adrian Walker, and that's going to be 1 away. So it was the pitch going down, and taking a swing at it was Mark Salazar, and he was way behind on that one. Both pitchers doing a good job of keeping the ball down when they need to. Now number 2, second baseman Rob Stewart stepping in. Seth Davidson still at first base with 1 out. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. No score. That one taken low. Gets you in trouble every time the ball up high in the strike zone. And once again, whether it's high school, little league, or professional play, you got to keep that ball down because you got some dangerous hitters. Stewart batting .350 for the Dons. Had the highest plate appearances for the Dons at 120. 42 hits, 20 RBIs, 2 home runs. That's Rob Stewart. Mentioned earlier, Mission Bay, 5-time champion, 86, 88, 92, and then for the last 2 years in 95 and 96. And they are trying for their 3rd straight consecutive championship as Adrian Walker, along with Ben Luthard, challenges Seth Davidson to keep him on at first base. 1 ball, no strikes to Rob Stewart. Nice fastball, but that one's low. Mission Bay has the experience playing in the big game as they are the 2-time defending champions. Ball 3 taken as the last few pitches have been low, but just a little bit too low. Speed favors the Bucks. Shortstop Reggie Nelson and DeMar Smith in center field at the top of the lineup really helps this Mission Bay team. Nice strike right at the knees. Rob Stewart taking that one all the way. Chopper to third base. It's a tough one, and not able to handle it is Chris Joe. That was a tough bounce as it bounced right in front of him. Got his glove jammed up in front of him. Couldn't quite hang on to it. And they're going to give Chris Joe an error on that one. And safely at first base is Rob Stewart on the error by Chris Joe. So moving over now to second base is Seth Davidson. Rob Stewart at first. And now coming up to plate is number 5, Al Gomez, the first baseman for the Dons. Gomez batting .286. He's got a home run, 19 RBIs. Out of 98 plate appearances, he's got 28 hits. Strike 1 called. And the umpire, the big blue behind the plate today, Mark Hatlin, he takes time out to clean off the plate. So 1 out in the bottom half of the first inning. Davidson at second, Stewart at first. And Al Gomez trying to move them along. Nice off-speed pitch by Adrian Walker. Walker has got some nice speed on his fastball. Then he can come back and throw up a nice off-speed pitch such as that and really can keep the batters off balance. Big swing and a miss, and that's going to be strikeout number 2 in this inning for Walker. And Al Gomez finds out the heat of Walker's pitches can be just a little bit too much. Now coming up is the pitcher, Mark Pryor, number 15. Mark going to try and help himself out.
Batting fifth, pitcher Mark Pryor.
2 out now. Pryor himself batting .408. 98 plate appearances, and that's going to drop down. That's a single coming in to score. Seth Davidson over to third base, and on the throw, they're going to have him hung up, and he'll get him out. And that's going to be out number 3, but one run does come across the plate in Seth Davidson off the single by Mark Pryor. So Pryor helps himself in that inning, and after one full inning, it's the Dons 1, the Bucks nothing.
University of San Diego leading Mission Bay after 1 by a score of 1-0.
Top half of the second inning, Dons out in front 1-0, and up to the plate now, designated hitter number 20, Mario Delgado. And on the mound for the Dons, number 15. Nice shot and a nice play. Al Gomez took a rocket shot down the first base side away from number 20, Mario Delgado. And if you could hang a nice star on that one, because Al Gomez really was able to rob extra bases away from a hard shot by Mario Delgado. So take it all by himself. Al Gomez records out number 1 in this top half of the second inning. That was a great snag. So it was Mark Pryor in the bottom half of the first that delivers a real clutch base hit. Coming around to score was Seth Davidson. And then moving to third base was Rob Stewart. And then Mark tried to extend the base hit to a double and got hung up and finally tagged out for the third out. Sharp hit gets past Seth Davidson, and there's a sharp single for Tony Victorino. So now Victorino comes back with a nice sharp single out to left field past the glove of Seth Davidson, and now coming up to the plate will be number 9, Mike Marabias. Marabias, the left fielder for the Bucks.
Batting 8th, the left fielder, Mike Marabias.
Marabias batting right-handed. Strike called, so it's a left-handed Mike Marabias up there, and he's going to try and send the ball back out. Big swing and a miss. Trying to take a look at Mike Marabias' statistics for you. High foul ball in third base side. That'll be taken by Clayton Collins, and so that'll be out number 2 for the Bucks. So a fly out to the third baseman Collins, and that's out number 2. So at first base,
Batting 9th, second baseman Marcos Endo.
Victorino, and now up to bat is number 1 Marcus Endo, second baseman for the Bucks. Endo batting .275 for the Bucks. 14 hits. Has a couple 2-baggers to his name. Endo, one of the smaller players on the team. But he can do the job as he's helped to get the Bucks all the way to the championship game here today. Good fundamental defensive man at second base, Marcus Endo. 2 balls, no strikes delivered. That's right down the pipe. Strike taken. So now it's 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Tony Victorino staying at first base on a nice sharp single to left field. Drive deep to right center. Back, that's off the glove. Coming around third base, and he will score, is Tony Victorino. And I'll tell you what, Marcus Endo, the little guy, really put some mustard on that ball. Sent it way, way deep to right center field. Racing for the ball was Andy Marshall, went right off of his glove. And I tell you what, Marcus Endo does the job for the Bucks as he comes up with a big, big stand-up double.
Back to the top of the order from third baseman Chris Joe.
Just when it looked like Marcus Endo was going to be overpowered by the bigger Mark Pryor, Endo delivers a super, super shot deep, deep into the right field area. And we've got a tie ball game in the top of the second inning as Tony Victorino all the way from first base comes around to score. And all this happening with 2 out in the top of the second inning. Well, you talk about names such as the RBI machine Ben Luthard, Reggie Nelson, and Mario Delgado. But you don't very often hear about Marcus Endo. And I tell you what, right now, Marcus Endo is one of the big, big names of this game in the top of the second inning, delivering that great, great shot. Chopper foul on the third base side. Nice grab by head coach Dennis Pugh. The Division II final between the Dons and the Buccaneers is loaded with coaching experience. Dennis Pugh took the chopper along the first base side. He comes in with a lifetime record of 405 wins and only 129 losses. His counterpart, head coach Dick Serrano, comes in with 479 wins and 239 losses. So the ball gets past Mark Salazar. Trotting down now to third base is Marcus Endo. And now 90 feet away from going ahead in this game is Endo and the Bucks. 1 ball, 2 strikes is the count against Chris Joe. Joe grounded out 6-3 his first time up. Chopper racing, 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 and can't handle it. And coming in to score, Marcus Endo. It was a charging second baseman, Rob Stewart, on a very, very slow hopper. Couldn't quite get it into his hands, and so safely reaching first base on a hit is Chris Joe. Coming in to score, Marcus Endo. And so now the Bucks go out on top 2-1, and we're still in the top half of the second inning. And all of this happening with 2 outs. That was a tough, tough play for a charging Rob Stewart. He had to charge for it. Coming up also was Seth Davidson. At the last minute, Rob Stewart took control. Tried to bare hand the ball. Couldn't quite find the handle as he was looking towards first base as well. Kind of took his eyes off the ball as he was trying to find out if Chris Joe had the speed to beat him out at first. Anyway, didn't matter as the ball never was delivered to Al Gomez. And so now safely at first base with the hit is Chris Joe. And now to the plate will be number 5 center fielder Damar Smith. Smith got a single his first time up. So now Mark Pryor needing to try and settle himself down and get out of this inning as there's 2 outs. Safe at second is the speedy Chris Joe. Got a good jump on Mark Pryor. Mark Salazar made the throw, but it was not in time, is sliding into second. On the steal is Chris Joe, now over in scoring position. And now coming up looking for a single is Damaj Smith as he came on board safely in the first inning. Strike taken at the knees. Sharp shot. That's going right to the shortstop. Nice strong throw. So that goes 6-3, and that'll be the third out of the inning. But the damage is done. 2-run score off the clutch hit by Marcus Endo, carried around by Chris Joe. And after 1.5 innings, it's the Bucks 2, the Dons 1. So we're bottom half of the second inning, and for the Bucks, they had a fine offensive inning. 3 hits gave them 2 runs, and that's where we stand right now. 2-1 is the score. And now up to the plate, number 8, third baseman Clayne Collins for the Dons. Nice grab by Chris Joe, a long throw, and he's got him for out number 1. Sharp hit by Clayne Collins right to the waiting glove of Chris Joe, and Joe doing his job of the Caminiti style of approach as he bends to his right, gets up and makes the long throw to first base.
Batting seventh, the designated hitter, Zach Beach.
So now Zach Beach, the designated hitter for Jim Morrison, comes up. Jim Morrison, left fielder for the Dons. Popped up and out of play. So the count now, 1 ball, 1 strike to Zach Beach.
Once again, we thank you for your...
Beach batting an even .300 as a designated hitter. 40 plate appearances, got 12 hits and 6 RBIs. Off-speed pitch just misses. So the count now goes to 2 balls and 1 strike, 1 out. We mentioned earlier about the total number of wins that both of these coaches have together, with Pugh having 405 and Serrano having 479. 884 wins between them both. This time the ball is low, and that'll be ball number 4 taken by number 13, Zach Beach. He'll trot to first base, and now number 4, Carlos Quinton, center fielder, will be up to bat.
Batting 8th for the Dons, the center fielder, Carlos Quinton.
Quinton batting .382 for the Dons. 55 plate appearances. 21 hits, 15 RBIs. He's got 3 home runs. The most on the Dons team is the Salazar. He's got 4, followed by Pryor and Quinton with 3 each. Stewart and Collins have 2 each, followed by Gomez. He's got 1. For Walker, he's pitched in 75 innings, faced 314 batters all season long. We mentioned 11-3, 2.43 ERA, and that's why Walker's on the mound right now. He's carried him the whole way, and if you're going to have someone on the mound in a championship game, Walker's your man. Off-speed pitch, bounces in the dirt in front. of the batter. Interesting, what doesn't happen when you get to the high school level is a change of balls. Now, normally a ball like that in the professionals, the blue behind the plate would have called timeout, taken a look at the ball for scuff marks, and thrown out a new ball to Walker. But in this case, in high school, much more lenient. If anything, they don't have as many baseballs. So 2-2 is the count now. Beach on first base, one away, bottom half of the second inning. 2-1 the score, Bucks out in top. Popped up into shallow field. That'll be taken by the second baseman, Marcos Endo, and so that'll be out number 2. So fly out to second baseman is Carlos Quinton, and now Andy Marshall, right fielder, steps up to the plate.
Batting ninth for the Dons, right fielder Andy Marshall.
We mentioned about the two teams and their coaches. Can't say enough out of either one of them. Dick Serrano for the Dons and the Bucks, Dennis Pugh. Since 1971, Serrano's been with the University of San Diego High School Dons in the dugout a long time, and along his way he's collected 4 CIF crowns. But yet he's never had the opportunity to coach the Dons here at Qualcomm Stadium. Very, very exciting. It's almost a fairy tale, he says. And for, of course, the whole team, they've got to really be enjoying playing right here where the San Diego Padres play. Beautiful field, obviously. Mint condition for this high school matchup. Can't ask for a better day either weather-wise. Nice cool day out, partly cloudy. Sun now setting behind the stadium wall. And so we've got nice cool temperatures. That one taking a strike, so now the ball counts 2 balls, 1 strike. Off the end of the bat, goes right into the waiting hands of the second baseman, Reggie Nelson. And so now after 2 full innings of play, it's the Bucks 2, the Dons 1. So the man that makes the last out in the last inning is now up to the plate, Reggie Nelson, shortstop, as it was Andy Marshall flying out shallow to Nelson. Nelson took a base on balls his first time up. Now takes ball 1 after the first pitch. So for the Bucks in the 3rd straight CIFL title game, CIF Division II Baseball Championship, 95 and 96 winners. Back in 1995, it was Mission Bay beating El Capitan 9-7. And then coming back in 1996, it was the same 2 teams. And in 9 innings, it was Mission Bay outlasting El Capitan 11-10. Base hit for Reggie Nelson as he comes on safely to first base. And that's a sharp single. And now coming up to the plate will be first baseman Ben Luthard. Luthard struck out his first time at bat. So at first base, Reggie Nelson, Luthard now in the plate. Luthard, a big athlete, plays first base. Quick challenge by Pryor. Nelson has some speed. Challenge back. So the Buccaneers have outscored their last 3 playoff opponents 30-7. They've been a true run machine. Taking off and getting by the catcher Salazar safely into second base is Nelson. He had a tremendous jump off of Mark Pryor. And he would have been safe anyway because Salazar couldn't handle the ball, got by him. And so now safely into second, Reggie Nelson. Count, no balls, 1 strike to Luthard. And with the speed of Nelson on at second base, causing a little havoc. Can't handle the ball, and that'll be an error charged against number 2, Rob Stewart. And so safely on at first base is Luthard. Moving over to the corner, third base will be Nelson. Now it's runners at the corner with nobody out. I'd say on that one, Rob Stewart started looking towards Al Gomez before he had control of the ball. And it just popped right out of his hand. So Luthard safe on at first. Nelson over at third base. And an error is charged. Rob Stewart will have to have that one hung on him today. So nobody out now, top half of the third inning. Adrian Walker try and help himself and try and bring in Nelson from third. Walker grounded out 4-3 his first time up. Up the middle, can't handle it, but a nice save all the way by Rob Stewart. Coming in to score is Reggie Nelson. So Walker helps himself out there as he takes a shot right up the middle, diving for it with Seth Davidson. Got by him, looked like it was going to go into center field, but Rob Stewart did a really good job of diving himself, was able to smother the ball, but when he came up with it, the damage was done as Reggie Nelson came in to score. Ben Luthard moves over to second base, and with a single, Adrian Walker. Now designated hitter Mario Delgado, who sent a rocket racing down the first baseline his first time up. It would have been major trouble if it got by Al Gomez, but Gomez had a star hung on his play as he was able to take a rocket shot away from number 20, Delgado. So now runners at first and second. Luthard at second, Walker at first. No outs. Mark Pryor trying to work out of a jam as one run is across. And there's a drive deep. Going back. That's going to split the outfielders. Coming in to score is Luthard. To third base will be Walker. And with a stand-up clutch double, number 20, Mario Delgado. So that one really split the alleys. Nice, strong shot, and now Mark Pryor is really having a rough inning here. Coming out to talk is Coach Serrano. Up at the plate now to keep it going, Tony Victorino, right fielder for the Bucks. Tony got on base with a nice single, came around and scored in the second inning. He'll try and bring in Walker now at third base. There's another shot. Racing forward is the center fielder, Carlos, but coming in to score is number 21, Adrian Walker, as he tags up. So Victorino does what he wants to do and sends a sacrifice fly deep to left center field. And the Bucks put another one on the board here in the top half of the third inning. Score now 5-1. And the hitting and scoring machine of the Bucks continues. We mentioned earlier, the Bucks in their 3 playoff games have outscored their opponents 30-7. And they are on their way right now to keep up that pace. Mark Pryor still on the mound for the Dons, and he is upset, but he's got to keep his composure now as he now faces number 9. Check that, number 14 for the Bucks. Pass ball, and moving on over to third base is Mario Delgado on the pass ball. So Ty Russell, who's now at to the plate, and we're going to have a pitching change for the Dons. So now we have a pitching change for the Dons. Now on the mound, number 2, Rob Stewart. Stewart moves from second base now to pitcher. Now playing in left field will be number 12, Andy Marshall. He moves over from right field. Number 5, Al Gomez, moves to right field. At third base, Clayne Collins. At shortstop is still Seth Davidson. First base is now number 15, the former pitcher Mark Pryor. Three balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Breaking pitch called strike 3. Nice pitch by Rob Stewart, and that's out number 2. And caught looking was number 14, Ty Russell. Ty Russell was batting for number 9, Mike Marabias. Now up is Marcus Endo. At second base for the Dons, number 6, Dave Lotz. So Stewart's got a real good breaking ball. He'll set it up throwing some heat, and then he'll come right back and try and pull the string on that one. That time it was high. Popped up. Foul territory, racing for it, Salazar, and he makes the grab. Out number 3, but not until the damage is done. 3 runs come across. It's Nelson, Luthard, and Walker who come in. And after 2.5 innings of play, it's the Bucks 5, the Dons 1.
Bucks pick up.
So leading off the bottom half of the third inning, Seth Davison fouls one off down the first base side. Davison scored his first time up after getting a base on balls. Top of the order, it'll be Davidson, Salazar, and Stewart for the Dons, and they've got an uphill battle as they are behind 5-1 in this bottom half of the third inning. Now right there, another time you'll see that the Blue, if it was a professional game, would take a look at that baseball and usually put it in his bag and give him a brand new one. Not so in high school. Base hit right up the middle for Seth Davidson as he rounds first, and he'll come on board with a sharp single to start off the bottom half of this third inning for the Dons. And that's exactly what the doctor ordered, as the Dons need to mount a comeback and try and put some runs across the board. Mark Salazar, catcher, struck out first time at bat. Out in front of that one For the Western Division Dons, they've wiped away 13 years of playoff frustration to get to this finals match. They come up with a big 2-1 win over El Capitan. Nice grab in the outfield. Tony Victorino comes up with a shoelace catch in right field and robs Mark Salazar with looked like to be a base hit. Scampering back to first is Davidson. That ball hung up there just a little bit and gave a chance for a charging Victorino to come in and right at his shoe tops, able to make the grab for out number 1. Back to first base. Ball gets by and a wild pitch down to second base goes Davidson. So with that win over El Capitan in the semifinals, it was the Dons finally advancing to the finals for the first time since 1983. Swing foul tip, he caught it. And so now 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out. Davidson at first base, now moving to second base. And for Rob Stewart, he wishes he had that bat back because he went fishing for a ball that was way down in the dirt, and that'll be strikeout for Walker. Strikeout number 3 in the game for Walker. Out number 2 in this inning, and now Al Gomez. Gomez struck out in his first outing in the first inning.
Again, we thank you for your cooperation in returning the foul balls that go into the stands. Back to the dugouts. Thank you.
So in 1983, the Dons were in the championship game. They played Hoover. Hoover beat them 4-1. The early 80s, though, were very, very kind to the Dons, as in 1980, they were the championships in a 13-inning game, and guess who they played against? The Buccaneers. 4-3 was the score in that one back in 1980. Strong ball towards center field, racing for it, Damaj Smith, and he takes it for out number 3. So after 3 innings of play, the score remains the Bucks 5, the Dons 1.
Third baseman, Chris Joe.
Top half of the 4th inning for the Bucks at the plate. Taking strike number 2, Chris Joe. Chris Joe topped the lineup. It's going to be Joe, Smith, and Nelson. Chopper to Davidson. Just got him. I tell you what, Chris Joe has definitely got some speed on him. But it was a good, strong throw by Seth Davidson, 6-3, that just got Chris Joe. With the changes defensively, let's go over the roster right now. Who's out in the outfield defensively? Andy Marshall, now number 12 in left field for the Dons. Quentin Carlos stays in center field. Number 5, Al Gomez, is in right field. And trotting down to first base is Damaj Smith, who takes one on the helmet. And that's what they've got him for. So hit pitch. And he trots down to first base. And the speedy Damaj Smith now on at first base. Reggie Nelson now on. Reggie Nelson has made it safely in both prior innings that he was up. Base on balls his first time up. Base hit his second time up. Came around and scored in the third inning. And it was that third inning that really has done the damage. So far, it was 2-1 after 2 innings of play, and then the Bucks came calling. Knocked Mark Pryor out of the game with 3 runs on 4 hits. And now we've got Rob Stewart on the mound. Lights are coming on now here at the Q as we are moving on into the evening time, and a fine evening time it is here in San Diego. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Damaj Smith challenged at first base by Rob Stewart. So both these teams back in 1980 played each other for the championship, went 13 strong innings. The Dons outlasting Mission Bay 4-3. The next year, the Dons came right back, repeated their championship with a 65 win over Hilltop. Mission Bay during the 80s was in the championship game against Claremont back in 1984. They lost to Claremont 11-4. They came back 2 years later in 86, had a championship win there. Safely into second goes the speedy Smith, and he turned on the afterburners. It was a nice throw by Mark Salazar, just not in time as Smith gets a stolen base into second. Ball 4 taken. And so Reggie Nelson moves down on a base on balls, and now runners are at first and second with only 1 out. So with that championship win by Mission Bay in 86, that started their reign as champions, collecting 5 of them along the way: 86, 88, 92, 95, and 96. And right there, Rob Stewart throwing that nice changeup. And Ben Luthard just watching it sink right in there for strike number 1. Luthard struck out his first time at bat, got safely on base on an error in the third inning. He came around and scored. Ball gets now through. Bad throw by Stewart. And so now moving on the bad throw goes Smith to third, and then playing heads-up baseball, Nelson comes into second base. Got to keep focused on the plate. Can't let the players and their speed get to you. Nice pitch for strike number 2. Stewart's got a really nice ball right there, if you'll see it. He's got some good mechanics too. Gets the ball all the way back. High ball to shallow right field. Gomez able to keep everybody at their bases, and that'll be out number 2 for the Dons. So Gomez came in and with a strong arm was able to keep Smith at third base. Smith did not want to try and challenge the arm of Al Gomez. So runners at third and second, Smith at third, Nelson at second. Adrian Walker, who came up big for himself in the third inning, going to try and do the same thing right now. Nice off-speed pitch for strike 1. So Adrian, who went 4-3, grounded out his first time up, had a big hit, single in his third inning rally on the throw coming in, he was able to move to second. Then he eventually came around and scored also, along with Luthard and Nelson. And that's where we have it right now, as that pitch is low, 5-1. Fastball high, swing and a miss by Walker. I tell you, he was looking for a piece of that ball to send out of here. Strike three, and that'll end this inning. 2 men are left, and after 3.5 innings of play, that is, it's still the Bucks 5, the Dons 1. Leading off the bottom half of the 4th inning, Mark Pryor. Hard shot to the third baseman, but Chris Joe recovers nicely, and with his strong arm is able to get out a charging Mark Pryor, and that'll be 5-3, and that'll be out number 1 for the Dons. Chris Joe, great arm at third base over there. Really adds some heat, through a rope, as they say, right to Ben Luthard. Off-speed pitch is low to Clayne Collins. Collins, in his first time up in the 2nd inning, grounded out 5-3. Out in front of that one. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. So Mark Pryor started the game against Adrian Walker, but in the top of the 3rd inning, he got shelled for 3 runs, and for Coach Dick Serrano, that was enough for him. He was able to come in, and Rob Stewart relieved him. Adrian Walker, as you can see, still out on the mound and still has the heat, as Clayne Collins strikes out for out number 2 in this inning.
The designated hitter, Zach Beach.
So strikeout number 4 for Walker. And that jumps in front of everybody. And for Jeremy Glassy, lost it, and just that's why you wear protection right there. Zach Beach, designated hitter, get jammed on the inside, and there's a nice inning for Walker and the rest of the Bucks, as it's 3 up and 3 down. So after 4 full innings of play, the Bucks 5, the Dons 1. So Mario Delgado will start off this top half of the 5th. Delgado, the last time up, had a great stand-up double that brought in a couple runs in that 3rd inning when the Bucks scored 3. Delgado himself, as the designated hitter, batting .419. Delgado leading the team in home runs with 11 home runs. So he definitely has the power. And he would love to put one out of here at Qualcomm Stadium. Delgado trying to reach for the seats right now. He knows he would have a great story to tell for the next few years until he gets into the college ranks about how he poked one out of Qualcomm Stadium. Not this time. In the foul territory is Clayne Collins, and he takes it by himself for out number 1. So Delgado flies out to the third baseman for out number 1, and Tony Victorino, who came around and scored off his own base hit in the 2nd inning, flied out to center field, up for his 3rd time. He's jammed at the hands, and once again calling for Clayne Collins, and 2 up, 2 down. And once again flies out to the third baseman. So both times the batters were cuffed on the fists. The ball of Victorino went a little bit farther, actually stayed in fair territory. And so number 9, the left-batted hitter of Mike Marabias. Marabias sends one out to right field. Waiting right there is the glove of Al Gomez, and it's a nice, strong inning for Rob Stewart. 3 up, 3 down. And after 4.5 innings of play, Bucks 5, Dons 1. Adrian Walker still on the mound for the Bucks and throwing a fine, fine game. So far only allowing 2 hits and 1 run. And getting way out in front of that one was Carlos Quinton, center fielder. Quinton, his first time up was in the 2nd inning, flied out to the shortstop.
Yeah.
Off-speed pitch is high, and so now it'll be 1 ball and 1 strike. Quinton batting .382, 3 home runs, 15 RBIs. Quinton, one of really only a handful of players for the Dons that has home runs this year. There's 7 Dons players that has home runs. Again, it's Quinton and Pryor with 3. And called out on a swinging putout for out number 1. So it was a swinging strikeout. Glassy couldn't handle it, got away from him, so it allowed Quinton to try and race to first base. Glassy was able to pick up the ball and throw out Quinton, and so there's out number 1. Andy Marshall, the right fielder. Marshall doesn't have any home runs. Once again, I tell you what, the strong throw, and I'm going to say the strong arm of Chris Joe is looking sharp. Andy Marshall had no chance to beat that one out. Not only is Chris Joe strong, he's deadly accurate. Luthar doesn't have to hardly move at all, and that ball comes zipping right into him. So 5-3 on that one, out number 2. And at top of the order, it's Seth Davidson, the shortstop. Davidson scored the only run so far in the game as he came around. He started off with the base on balls, and for some pitchers, if not all, everybody will tell you is you can get hurt by base on balls. Fastball. Got on first base his second time up in the 3rd inning, moved to second on a wild pitch, but he was stranded there as Walker was able to retire the next 3 batters. Both of these teams playing out of the same division, which is the Western League. Both of them tied for first place with a record of 10-2. However, nice strikeout by Adrian Walker, and that's going to do it for the Dons. 3 up and 3 down once again, and so after 4.5 innings of play, A full 5 innings to play, that is. 5-1, Bucks. You're looking at the newly crowned scoreboard stadium, Qualcomm Stadium. Qualcomm Stadium really being touted as a savior here in San Diego, helping to put up the final $18 million to enclose the stadium. And for that, they were able to get the stadium named for them for the next 20 years. Marcus Endo at the plate. Marcus, in that second inning, had a big double. Ended up helping to bring in Victorino and then helped himself as he scored 2, and that's when the Bucks scored 2 in that second inning. Marcus Endo has a very strong bat. That's taken by Collins. And that ball goes 5-3 for out number 1 right here in the top of the 6th inning. So both of these teams out of the Western League, we mentioned it, both ending with a league record 10-2, but first place was given to the Dons. You know why? Both these teams played one another in league play, and it was the Dons beating the Buccaneers both times 5-3 and 1-0 to get the nod and crown first place in the division. But right here, we've got a turn of events as the Bucks are out in front of the Dons 5-1. In that Western League, ball down to left field, standing and waiting for it is Andy Marshall. He takes it for out number 2. So Jones flies out to left field, and up to the batter's box right now will be number 5, Demai Smith. Smith been up 3 times. This will be his 4th plate appearance. Nice breaking ball. I'm telling you, Rob Stewart has got a real nice one. Crosses the plate right at the letters, and we've got a blue that's going to be calling those strikes all night long. In that Western League, along with the Dons and the Buccaneers, you've got La Jolla, Scripps Ranch, St. Augustine, University City, and Crawford. Nice strong throw and getting him for out number 3. That one goes 5-3. And so after 5.5 innings of play, the Dons want to come up in the bottom of the 6th and try and put some runs on the board. But right now, it's Bucks 5, Dons 1. Up at the plate now, number 10 for the Dons, Mark Salazar. Salazar strikes out the first inning he's up, flies out to right field. This will be his 3rd time up. Had a beautiful game in the Division III finals prior to the start of this one. In that game, in the Division III, it was Marian Catholic Crusaders up against the Christian Patriots. And what a game it was for the Christian Patriots. Chopper charging is Nelson. Safe call. Nelson charging, picks it up and throws it, but not in time as Salazar safely reaches first base. Close call in that one. Tie goes to the runner. And now up to the plate, Rob Stewart. Struck out his last time up, reached first base safely at his first time up. And Adrian Walker looking just as strong now as he did in the first inning. Mentioned it earlier that Walker himself had 103 strikeouts during his career this season. That is during this season in 1997. Off-speed pitch is high. He's got 6 strikeouts in this game in 5 innings. So he's looking strong. Last inning, he had 2 strikeouts. A rope, and that's fair. Down into the corner, that's going to be trouble for a racing Mike Maravillas coming in to score. And ending up in second base is Rob Stewart. So Mark Salazar comes all the way around from first base on the stand-up double by Rob Stewart. That was a sharp, sharp ball. Went over down into the bullpen area. Racing for it was Mike Maravillas. He was able to pick it up and throw it in, but not before Stewart ended up at second with a stand-up double. Al Gomez now at the plate. Gomez had a home run this season, batting .286. And now coming out to talk with Adrian Walker is Dennis Pugh. So I got to finish the story against the Division III game because it was in the same 6th inning that Marion Catholic Crusaders was out on top 4-2 in the top of the 6th. Well, the Patriots came back, tied it up 4-4 in the bottom of the 6th. Then the Crusaders went out on top 6-4 in the top of the 7th. Nice grab by Marcus Endo off a hot bat. Good smart play by Rob Stewart as he didn't go charging off there. He was able to scamper back and keep from picked off. Out number 1 for the Dons is flied out number 4, sharp shot that is. And now Mark Pryor is up at the plate. So then it was the top of the 7th, the Crusaders out in front 6-4. It was the Patriots who in the bottom of the 7th tied it up 6-6, and then we went into extra innings. Finally in the 8th inning, all tied at 7, the Patriots miraculously came back with a run to win the game. And so the final score out in the 8 innings was the Patriots coming from behind to win 7-6. The Dons would love to have a similar type of story right here starting in the 6th inning. Right back to Walker, who sends it over. And that'll be out number 2. So the ball was hit sharply, but right back to Walker, who was able to grab it and throw it out. And so the ball goes 1-3, and that's out number 2 in this inning. Good speed on that one as a fastball right down the chutes by Walker. So number 8, Clayne Collins, is up to bat. Struck out his last time. Off-speed pitch there. Nice setup by Walker as the first pitch comes in. Fastball comes right back with an off-speed pitch. Collins goes for it and takes a big swing way out in front. So no balls and 2 strikes. Walker in the driver's seat. Runner at third base. And there's a high pitch that almost gets away from Glassy. So Rob Stewart now standing at third base, hoping that Collins can put the ball somewhere that he can come in safely. Count now even, 2-2. Single! And coming in to score is Rob Stewart, and a timely single by Clayton Collins. Now makes the score 5-3 in favor of the Bucks. And here in the 6th inning, Salazar has scored and Stewart has scored. And now up to the batter's box will be number 13, the designated hitter, Zach Beach. Beach, first time up, reached first base on a base on balls. Second time grounded out 4-3. Beach batting an even .300. He's trying to follow in the steps of Clayton Collins. And with 2 out, trying to keep the rally alive here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Shallow fly ball to right field. Going back is Endo, and Endo does just that. He endos the 6th inning. 2 runs are scored on 3 hits, and so after 6 full innings of play now, it's the Bucks 5, the Dons 3. Top of the 7th, 5-3, the Bucks out in front. Standing at the plate, number 2, Reggie Nelson. Reggie with the base hit scores in the 3rd inning. 2 base on balls in the 1st and the 4th. This will be his 4th time up. 1 ball, 1 strike. The ball is down low. So for the Bucks, they're trying to three-peat and try and have their 3rd consecutive championship. Last year, not only did they win the championship, but they also tied Mount Carmel with most wins in a season. Actually, that was 1995 that Mount Carmel and Mission Bay tied for the most wins in the season at 30. Full count shot, that goes right to the waiting glove of David Lotz. And so that'll be out number 1 for the Bucks. So Ben Luthard comes to the plate.
Stepping in, first baseman Ben Luthard.
Luthard, a junior at Mission Bay High School. Bats and throws right, 6'5", 210. He is a big, big athlete. Nice pitch, that off-speed stuff. Rob Stewart, that is his pitch tonight. Luthard flied out to right field his last time up. 3rd inning, was able to come around and score. Struck out his first, so he is actually up for his 4th time tonight. Luthard, during the regular season, including tournament play and playoffs, batting .481. Luthard knew on that call, inside corner of the plate for strike number 2. 8 home runs to his name. 2nd only behind number 20, Delgado. So a big swing and a miss by Ben Luthard as he goes down swinging for the 2nd time. That's out number 2 for the Bucks. And now coming up is Adrian Walker, who's been in the game the whole time. helped himself along in the third inning as he got on base and was able to bring Luthert around. Shallow fly ball to center field. That's taken by Seth Davidson. And so a nice inning for Rob Stewart as it's 3 up and 3 down. And the Dons are up with their final 3 outs. Score right now after 6.5, 5-3 Bucks. Last half of the 7th inning, final 3 outs for the Dons. Scheduled batters are Quinton, Marshall, and Davidson. Carlos Quinton, center fielder, now up to bat. Struck out his last time up, flied out, first time up back in the 2nd inning. 2 balls, no strikes to Quinton right now as the Dons want to try and rally and put something together right here. Walker on the mound. He's gone the whole way. And he's going to try and close this one out and try and pitch the full 7 innings. Last time out, Walker allowed only 2 hits on 5 1/3 innings. Good strong throw by Chris Joe, and that's out number 1 for the Bucks. So it was Walker going up against Montgomery in a 3-2 nail-biter. And once again, it was Adrian going 5 1/3 innings and only allowing those 2 hits. Right now, he's gone 6 1/3, and he's going to try and close this out as Adrian Walker is looking very, very strong. And for the Dons, well, they're going to have to come up with some absolute magic to try and pull this one out. Chopper foul down the third base side. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out for the Dons. Walking back and now finally jogging back, Andy Marshall. Marshall, 182 hitter during the regular and post games that they've played, and really having to lay off a fastball that time. So 2-2 the count to Marshall. Now the count goes full. So Marshall doing a good job of working Walker and making him pitch the type of pitch that he needs. 3-2 count. Swing and a miss. Strikeout for Walker. Seven strikeouts for Adrian Walker in this battle. And now the Dons are down to their last out. The fans and friends of the Bucks are on their feet, and they're going to try and cheer on the close of this game as stepping into it is leadoff hitter Seth Davidson. Davidson struck out his last time out. Davidson, we mentioned earlier, .461 batting average during the season. And Adrian Walker sends a screamer right past Seth Davidson. So the count now 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Fouled back on a fastball, and so Walker throwing heat to try and close this one out. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. And every pitch now could be the last for the Dons. Davidson versus Walker. And the crowd continuing to get into the game as they want to cheer the Bucks on. Off-speed pitch, not close, so now the count 2-2. So the Bucks trying to win their third consecutive championship on the strong arm of Adrian Walker. Count now goes full, 3 balls, 2 strikes, and I tell you, how dramatic can you get? Walker on the mound against Davidson. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. This is the payoff pitch. And there's a sharp ball hit down to center field, and he drops the ball. He drops the ball. He drops the ball. And he is still safe at first base. The Bucks think that they have won the game, but DeMarge Smith in center field dropped the ball. Seth Davidson thought that he caught it. The entire Bucks team thought that he had caught it. DeMarge Smith thought that he had caught it. But DeMarge Smith dropped the ball into center field, and the Dons stay alive. Man, oh man. DeMarge Smith still on the ground. Can't believe that he let that one slip out of his glove. So when you talk about cats having 9 lives, the Dons give it an extra life here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. An error charged to DeMarge Smith. And the Dons are going to try and capitalize on this one. First base coach for the Dons was screaming at Seth Davidson as Davidson didn't even pay attention to what was going on out in midfield. And now it's a shallow pop-up. Walker wants to have it himself and does. So Walker, who had to do it all by himself today on the mound, decides to close this one out by himself. He takes the final pitch and the final fly ball, which equals the final out. So after 7 full innings of play, the Mission Bay Buccaneers are crowned the San Diego CIF Boys Division II champions. On behalf of George Langevin Sports Video Productions, this has been your Super Game of the Week. And we'll be back right after this with some post-game interviews.
We'd like to ask the principals to please report to the sidelines now. Principal Richard Kelly from the University of City. Number 7, Darryl Galvin. Number 18, Louis Camarena. And the Dons, baseman number 8, Blaine Collins. Tonight's designated hitter for the Dons, number 13, Zach Agee. Starting outfielder, number 14, Jim Morrison. Second outfielder for the Dons, number 4, Carlos Quinton. Outside right fielder, number 12, Andy Marshall.
Coaches.
And we'd also like to present the assistant coaches, Chad Davidson, Gary, and the Dons head coach, Dick Sorrell.
Good job, Dan. Thank you very much. Good job.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Division 2 San Diego section runners-up, the University of San Diego High School Dons. CDL champion, Fisherman Buccaneers. Now let's meet the Division 2 champion players. Juan Pablo Gomez. Number 8, Chris Joe. Fellow who helped put a little bit of excitement into this last inning of play, center fielder, number 5, Smith.
Standing with me is third baseman Chris Joe. Congratulations on a great game.
Thanks.
Hey, you know you have a strong arm similar to somebody else who plays third base here on this field.
I guess.
I'd say you had 4 good, strong throws out there.
Yeah. Well, mine's been hurting a little lately, but I guess the adrenaline has really got me going for this game. We got to be up for this game.
What was the turning point in this game for you guys that you knew you had it in the bag?
I think it was the 3rd inning when we just had 3 consecutive hits, and we got 3 runs in the inning, and that really separated it.
Well, the separation was far with a good game. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Standing with me, Mario Delgado, the designated hitter. You had a good shot, a stand-up double in this game.
Yeah, I was just trying to make hard contact like I did in the 1st inning and hoping it landed this time, because last time.
Al Gomez had a good play in that 1st inning. He robbed you of a real extra base shot there.
Yeah. I was kind of disappointed, but I got over it, and it showed the next at-bat, stayed focused.
What's the strength of this team that brought you guys all the way to the championship?
I think mainly our pitching and the speed of our depth. Our depth in pitching. Adrian and Jason Johnson did a great job this year.
Adrian was out there and did a great job. You did one, too, coming off the bench and designated hitting. Congratulations on a great game.
Thank you.
Shortstop Reggie Nelson with me. Now, you've got some speed out on those bases.
Oh, yes. I just try my best to run everything hard, just help our team any way I can, really.
What do you think of the strengths of the team?
Oh, it's our hitting, our defense, speed, pitching, all of it.
Now, the Dons beat you 2 games earlier during the league. What did Coach tell you guys to get motivated for this game?
Get ready for the big pitcher they got, because the last game, he pitched like a 3-hitter. He had like 14 Ks. And the first time, it was a tight game. It was like 3-3 all the way to the 7th inning, and they won like in the bottom of the 7th. And we just played hard, and he just said, just play your best, and we'll see at the end. It'll be a close game, and it was a close game. They started battling back at the end. So,
bottom line is scoreboard. You guys win this one and are crowned champions. Congratulations on a great win. That's right. 3 in a row. Congratulations. Standing with me, head coach Dennis Pugh. Congratulations, Coach Pugh, on a great win.
Thank you very much.
What is it, the strengths of the team that brought your team all the way to this championship this year?
I think the experience that we've had, winning the last 2 years, towards the end really helped out. Our kids were relaxed and ready to play.
Adrian Walker, who had a super game, went all 7 innings. He's been your main man all year?
Yeah, Mario Delgado was supposed to be, but when he broke his foot, that kind of changed things, and Adrian stepped forward and did a great job for us.
Excellent job. Coach, you've had a lot of athletes go through your teams in the years. What do you hope that the teams and the players specifically can remember about you being their coach?
I just hope they remember that I was fair and that they got a good experience out of it, and they learned a lot about baseball.
Well, they surely did, and they learned how to win also. You got a great record. Congratulations on a good championship win.
Thank you very much.
Well, it was the strong pitching of Adrian Walker and the timely hitting of the entire offensive team that put this Mission Bay Buccaneers team out in front to stay. The final score in this one is Mission Bay 5, the Dons 3. Mission Bay three-peats and becomes the 3rd-time winner of the Division II CIF Championship here in San Diego. On behalf of George Langevin Sports Video Productions, this has been your Super Game of the Week. I'm Dan Williams. We'll see you again.